Hey, welcome D-Lab everyone. I've got a real treat for you. On the bench, we have a Vibro Champ from the original owner. He sent me a letter and he says that he bought this while in college in 1980 and it's been sitting in his closet ever since. He wants it operating again, so he shipped it to D-Lab Electronics. So how do we get the ball rolling here at D-Lab? Just like that.
Oh boy, beer 30!
No, it's not beer 30. It's Wino Junko. I can't say no. Whoa, 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 whoa. Is this a tube in my wine glass, or are you just happy to see me?
No, it's a two-bobber.
Are you trying to lure me into something?
Two-bobber.
Wine time at D-Lab.
Beer time.
So let's give the Vibro Champ a quick look over. She looks pretty much 100% stock. Still has the 2-conductor power cord with the death cap. That's obviously coming out. The old Mallory electrolytics. But somebody has replaced these .022 microfarad caps. We're going to put in some nice Mallories in their place and also get rid of these little brownie drops or whatever you call them, but I can't stand these caps, so they're out of here. The other thing I found is the output tube, which is an RCA. Has been replaced, but listen. Hear it? She's like a baby rattle. So more than likely we'll be putting in a new output tube also. So what I'm going to do, and not bore you guys, I'm going to go ahead and change out the caps, including the filter cap, since this unit has not been on in 40 years, and then we'll give her a test. But I'm pretty sure that it's just a minor maintenance job required on the Vibro Champ. So one thing I wanted to point out, the bias resistor, if you look down there, is a 470 ohm guy. He's really dark in the middle, meaning that it's pulling some excessive current and breaking down. Currently it's measuring 526 ohms. So what we're going to do, just for the fun of it, we're going to go to volts. Let's see what kind of current is actually going through that tube. Here she comes. Okay. Wait for her to settle down a little bit. Let's just call it 22 volts. So if I go 22 volts divided by, in this case, say 525 ohms, we're looking at about 42 milliamps of current. So that's not really bad for a Class A operation, but at the end of this video, after I get the caps installed, I will be resetting the bias. Almost dropped my meter, didn't I? Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, so here's a little tech tip for you guys. I'm going to install this nice CE manufacturing filter cap in the place of the original. Now getting these old leads off is a piece of cake, because Fender simply poked them through the terminals. But the hard part is getting these solder tabs lifted so that you can remove the old cap. But I have a solution in the shop. You've seen him before. That's right. It's Mr. Unger, model number 4033, 50 watt.
Good evening. Sit back and relax. Light up an old ghoul.
That's right. Snozeramus
A lot of people wonder
is on the scene.
where ghouls come from. Well, they come from all over.
Look at there.
They have. A lot of ghouls come from Portugal.
Sorry, that track is only 30 seconds long, so I was not able to complete the operation. There it is, by yours truly, Snozeramus. Okay guys, let's check the bias on the Vibro Champ. I've got all the caps installed. We're going to test first with the old 6v6 tube. The bias resistor I put in is 1K, not 470. I find that all these champs are running just flaming hot with that 470 ohm resistor. Okay, there's my current going through the output tube. You can see she's about, let's just call it 27 milliamps. Okay, now that was the original RCA tube. Okay, this guy that had the baby rattle sound. I tested it on my Amplitrex tube checker and it's soft. It's down to about half the current that you would expect. So here is a new old stock GE 6v6. We'll pop him in, power it up and watch our bias. I expect it to be higher because that's a healthy tube versus the soft one that was in there. So you can see her current, she's coming up much higher. So there she is, right back to the 40 milliamps that the old tube was pulling with the 470 ohm resistor. So you know what would have happened if you put a new tube in your champ with that old resistor, it would have fried it. So it's always good to check the bias. Alright, so while I was checking the tubes, the 12AX7s tested with excessive gain. I was like, what the heck is going on? Until I looked a little bit closer, they're actually a pair of AT7s that were installed in the amp. So that would obviously affect gain and the operation of the tremolo circuit. So I'm going to replace those with a pair of Mullard 12AX7s, and then we should be ready to test. Alright, so I've got Tony over here to give you a demo of the Vibro Champ, but there are some enhancements that I really need to share with you guys. As you know, the silver face Vibro Champs are kind of famous for being anemic, okay? There just wasn't a lot of gain, and that was due to the addition of the treble and bass controls, which sucked down the signal, okay? But I found an easy solution where you can almost double the gain on this amp and it sounds out of this world. Tony played it and he's like, man, why did I get rid of mine? Let me show you what I did. You can do this to yours. It's completely reversible. So you can refer to your Vibro Champ schematic to see the changes that I'm talking about if you need to see the print. But what I'll do is just focus on the eyelet board. So all the components on this board are stock, except if you look over here, here's the two plate resistors feeding the 12AX7. Stock, they were 100K. I bumped these up to 200K to get a lot more drive out of that preamp tube, which will make up for the losses through the tone controls. Okay, the other thing I noticed, if you look at the schematic, there is a resistor right here. Okay, and that is actually the grid resistor that is going to the 6v6 tube grid pin to ground. Stock, it was a 220K resistor. Now if you envision that, 220K would really swamp the audio signal going to the 6v6. So I bumped that up to a 560K resistor, which is common in these amps, and that really woke her up. The other thing I need to point out is when I adjusted that bias and put in the 1K resistor, the voltage crept up close to 50 volts. So if you were to have the stock 25 microfarad at 50 volt cap, it may blow up. Alright, so I bumped up the cathode cap to 100 microfarad at 100 volts. And this amp has all the chime that you would expect from a Fender amp.
vibrato's working very nicely, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, let's hear it without the tremolo real quick so you can hear the... Yeah, just... Nope, wrong way, Feldman.
Whoop. The other off. Let's see. Sounds like a good Fender now.
Yeah, it does, man. It does. It sounds great.
Wow, this came out really good, Kev. You're gonna really like this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she sounds... Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this fine presentation from D-Lab Electronics. As you know, my goal for the end of 2022 is to have 100K subscribers. So I'm shaking things up. I'm trying to give you guys more information to help you maintain your vintage amps. So help me out, guys. Network. Tell your friends. Whatever it takes. Help me meet that goal. We'll see you again.